Mr. DJ Rose, Verteezy, and C's. Welcome you to the No More Black Tears podcast.
Black tears that's heaven sent. Barack the first black president. I love my black skin. I love walking in black excellence. Black power, let's represent. All black, that's evident. I'm sure MLK and Malcolm X both didn't die for the hell of it. Strap your seatbelt, go and sell our land. What makes you think that we would sell our land? We wouldn't sell our land. What makes you think that we would go ahead and try to sell out then? No more black tears, black on black kids. Love us as is, love with passion. Paying black bills, learning black skills, making black meals. Black is backing. Big shout out to Fred Hampton. I'm black and proud like I'm James Brown, but I ain't doing no acting. My people here from the motherland. This podcast now active.
No More Black Tears Radio. We back for another week. Mr. Juice Man, how you doing?
What it do? What it do? I'm in the building. Let's get it.
Caesar C's, man, how you doing?
Yo, what's good, people?
Verteezy, man, how's your big week been?
Man, it's pretty good, man. You know, sure, we on Wednesday. We halfway through the week, man. You know, Juneteenth tomorrow, man. So happy to all the black people.
Hump day. So, man, it all happened in a week, but we're talking about this past year. So, man, what's going on?
So, man, yeah, there was a podcast that was talking about the suicide statistics for this past year, and basically, the man was saying that a confirmed 450,000 people have committed suicide. Now, I did go online and look it up. It was adjusted to world statistics. 750,000 people have killed themselves. And then on top of that, there was a situation, I want to say over the weekend, where a man and a woman, you know, they had a relationship. It seemed like a very toxic relationship. They both was cheating on each other. They both would go on social media and talk about their business. And it got to the point where it got volatile when the man was trying to tell his side. The woman kept interrupting him. And she basically alluded to, you going to beat me again. So it seems like their relationship was violent at times. He ended up murdering her and then killing himself. So, you know, with it being June, Men's Mental Health Month, with, you know, all of us being black men, and a lot of black men don't talk about how suicide affects our community, as well as the mental health of a lot of black men in our community. What's some of your thoughts on this, C's?
All right, first of all, I'm saying, why do they pack so much shit into the month of June? It's Juneteenth this month. It's Black Music Month. It's also Pride Month. And now I'm just finding out this year it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
You got Father's Day, too.
Father's Day, obviously, but, you know, that trumps all that other stuff. Besides Juneteenth, it trumps everything. Why the fuck you do everything in the same month? I did have questions about the statistics. I want to see, like, you know, where was it? What demographics? You know, men, women, what countries, all that other type of stuff. That's a serious thing, man. I wanted to also, something I tried to look up, but I couldn't find, was the demographics of, like, who had the most. Like, being Verteezy, we were talking yesterday, I'm like, he was like, oh, what was it in the 90s? It was probably like, you know, white teens and something, and then moved on to white girls, and then moved on to white men. But before that, I probably would say it was throughout history, it's probably been mostly men, you know, throughout time. So I would like to see statistics behind that. And then, you know, for the veterans, shout out to the vets, man, 22 a day. Anytime you've seen that push-up thing going on throughout the year around Veterans Day and other parts of the year, they say at least the average statistics is like 22 veterans off themselves a day. So that was a serious thing.
Well, when it comes to suicide, I don't agree with it, but I understand. I remember one time I was, I'm not going to say depressed, but I was so deep in the dark and I was so fucked up in my life that I actually thought about one time I was going to commit suicide. And it was the place in my life I had got that deep in shit that it was like, man, before I go through all this hell, I'd rather just off myself. You know what I'm saying? But I sat there and I thought about it, and I was like, nah, because y'all thinking about suicide, somebody killing themselves. Suicide could be, okay, boom, I'm gonna go out there and shoot as many cops as I can until a cop kills me. Like that's also suicide. Suicide is I'm gonna do a mass shooting and just kill as many people I can kill before somebody gets to me. That is also suicide. Suicide is fucking with the wrong person at the wrong goddamn time. That is suicide. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know they committed suicide. Some people just think, oh, I'm doing shits and giggles. Nah, bitch, you might be committing suicide right now. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what the hell the other person has on their mind. But that's my take on it. I don't wish that shit on nobody. Get help, therapy, it helps. I don't know about the meds. They got to do a better job with these meds because the meds, they'll make you numb. They'll make you mentally numb.
So some quick statistics on suicide. Like men are 3.8 times more likely to commit suicide than women. Women attempt it at a higher rate, but men are more successful typically.
Makes sense.
Men can make up 80% of the suicides compared to women only at 20%. Then by race, American, Indian, Alaskan people, they lead the way at 23.8%. Then white people at 17.6%. Hawaiian people at 17.3%. Hispanic people 9.2%. And then finally, you got black people at 9.1%. Ironically, Asian people make up the smallest portion of suicide rates. I think those numbers kind of tell a story within the story. In America. I think those numbers kind of tell a story within the story. We know the tribulations that Indians go through. I know when I went to Rose House last year, he had a show. I can't remember the show. He might remember it. But it talks about Indians on a reservation. So, like, we kind of know what they go through. So it kind of makes sense for them. White people, it just seems...
Yellowstone. Was it Yellowstone?
It might have been Yellowstone, but I just remember there was a segment where it was just focus on Indians on like a little reservation. White people, they just seem like a very depressed group of people. And I ain't gonna lie, if you're not successful and you white in America, you probably should, kill yourself because just saying, because you done had all the privileges in the world, and if you poor and you white, you done fucked up. But then when you get to black people, we have a lot of things going on. We have a system, designed to oppress us. We don't have the means to get the resources at the level we want to get them at. We have to deal with the police. And then we get home, and a lot of times we have to fight a lot of internal battles. And we talked about how men make up a higher percentage of it. When you also look at that part of the statistic, like especially as black men, we all are black men at the table. You have to provide for a family. You have people who look up to you to protect them and provide. And you don't really have the ability, no offense to black women, sometimes you could just lose your shit and just be like, I don't have all the answers. And you can just cry and just whatever, and everything just seems like, okay, cool, it is what it is. You just had a mental breakdown. But a lot of fathers, we got two fathers at the table. How many black men feel comfortable just going home one day and you struggling for a lot, and you could just basically just blurt out, I don't have answers. I don't know how we're going to pay these bills comfortably. I don't know what we got going on. And then, you hear some of these black men online say, I look less at my man when he does certain things. So it does make it hard for a black man to be vulnerable. So,
I would say that's any man. Any man, you can't really be. Well, that's why you got to go get your help. You got to go seek your counseling. And then, as we say in the Army, let me go research that. If you don't get the answers, you don't let the people know you don't get the answers, because they'll freak out.
So the bullshit they preach in the military resiliency. The word is resiliency.
So you just tell them, hey, let me do some research. If you don't know something, you don't say you don't know it. You just say, let me research that. I get back to you.
Yeah. Before I dive deeper though, Rose, you got some quick thoughts?
Yeah, as far as like suicide, like, yeah, if you commit suicide or you're a quitter, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, nobody should ever be a quitter. Like those are the most lowest people. So if anybody commits suicide, that's they it was their time to go. You know what I'm saying? Good riddance. Also, like shout out to LA Knight when it comes to suicide, man. I got 3 letters. KYS.
Everybody say it with me. KYS.
KYS. And then and for the women that always try, you gotta do better. You gotta be better than that. You gotta be better at that. Like
So you a quitter and a failure.
yeah, don't be both. You know what I'm saying? Don't be both of them. And also because it's like when it
So
comes,
at least the people who commit suicide successfully, they are successful at something.
yeah, they're still losers though. They lost at the game of life, and they quit because they quit before the game was over. So you know what I'm saying? Don't be a quitter. You know what I'm saying? That's the easiest way out. Like you're such a loser and a quitter. Like oh I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this. I can't deal with that. Well,
So quick
but
question:
when
is there any situation where it would be okay to commit suicide?
no,
Okay.
no, that's not. But as far as when it comes to men mental health, I think that's a totally different thing because men don't like to do certain things and go and seek help, like just men's health in general. But I know especially like black men, they always neglect certain things, but mental health is always the last thing on the table. And it's always good to go talk to somebody because people can always tell when you're going through something, and people always try to hide it, like, oh yeah, I ain't going through that, but just by your actions and other things, we could tell you going through something because some of the things that people do is just not normal things, and some of the things that people say and some of the things that how people think and interact with others is just not normal. You know what I'm saying? So mental health is a real thing, but suicide should never be the 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 cause, not the cause, but the result of your mental health not getting checked out. Because if you if you were smart enough to be able to do that to your life, you were smart enough to be able to figure out a way to get out of this situation.
Yeah, man. I know C's was hinting at it, about like how I was saying how suicide kind of has graduated, through the genders, through races and stuff like that the last 30 years. And to your point, like there are situations where, you do kind of have to figure out, can I find a solution to this? At one point in time, teenagers and still teenagers are the leading people who commit suicide. And that's unfortunate because you get young brains, young minds who just look at a situation as temporary, and they decide to have a permanent solution because when you're young, you just a lot of people feel like this is going to last forever, and they don't understand that. You know, recently, I say probably like between 2015 to 2020, 2022, transgender teenagers took over the suicide rates. Um, and that's like just a kind of tricky scenario because, I'm a big Christian and I don't never condone people not loving other people. But, when you do get teenagers who feel like they can't be accepted, it kind of do makes them like isolate themselves and feel like, what can I do? And that tends to lead them to kind of probably commit some of that stuff. Maybe some of it comes from their family neglecting them and turning their backs on them, and that's unfortunate. But as far as just men in general, yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head. Like people can kind of tell when you got stuff going on, and we should try to talk to people, whether it's counseling, therapy, or whether it's your friends and your family. But I will say this though, man, we gotta listen too. We can't tell people to come talk to us about their problems, and we give off like we make fun of their problems, or we give off like their problems ain't that big of a deal.
Yeah, you have to do that in your head, but still listen. Like you can listen to somebody and be like, man, this is a bunch of bull crap right here, but you don't say that out loud.
Yeah, nah, and that is something people do though. Like you might tell people like, "Yo, man, I got laid off. I got this new job. I was making 80 a year. I'm now only making 45." And you got someone else who's making literally 45 a year, and they living just fine. They're thinking to themselves like, "This is not a real issue." But I mean, you don't know how that person's bills is set up. You don't know what they got going in their life. So you do need to kind of be understanding and be like, try to show them positive stuff. But when you kind of ridicule people, or you have a history of ridiculing people for venting and opening up, I will say this: it does make people be like, I'd rather just keep that shit to myself or not communicate to this person because I feel like this person's gonna make me feel even worse and judge me for feeling the way I'm feeling. And this is something that me and C's kind of talked about last night.
So one thing I think people a lot of times, what I'm saying, how bullying nowadays is such a big thing. I seen a guy online today. He was like, they need to bring bullies back. They need to let people be bullied as young kids because he was saying that it makes you as a stronger, it makes your skin tougher. You know what I'm saying? But bullying is like it's. I think they just need to let kids be kids. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to sometimes getting bullied, it could go too far. But
I think that's one of the problems is the shit. The shit goes further than just like, oh, they made fun of me at school or these niggas fucking with me every day. It's like now, like they'll sit there and make a whole campaign on TikTok or leak somebody's tape. Like, why does a 13-year-old have a tape out?
now what kind of tape?
Like a sex tape or something. Them stories they be telling on.
Yeah, they shout out to LA Night. I got 3 words for that.
But it's like the shit, like going through all that shit. It's like, man.
I mean, it's harder now, man. I remember I was watching something, man, and people was not taking cyberbullying serious. And someone kind of put it like this: it was different back in the day when you got bullied at home because people made fun of you. People might have put their hands on you, but when you got home, you were safe. Whereas it got to the point where cyberbullying became a big issue. Like people pick on you at school. You come home, you can't even get on social media because the same people bullying you is posting stuff about you. And now you just feel completely isolated, from the whole world. That's something that I ain't gonna say bullying is wrong, man, because I feel like bullies have their place in the ecosystem. But at some point in time, you do gotta know when to let out the gas, man.
It's like
you gotta know when you riding people a little too hard.
Like if you showing up to somebody's house before the bus, like, okay, you go out your way every morning to fuck with this kid, like before you ain't even brushing fucking teeth, and you on their ass like white on rice. It's like, okay, man.
See,
you're supposed to be the bully, not this one person, and that's the only person you fuck with.
Yeah, man. I mean, and you gotta kind of spread the love around when you bullying, man. Bully all the other kids too. Like I said, I do think it has a place because there's a lot of weird shit that be going on, and the bully's there to be like, yo, you can't just be doing weird shit all the time. But like,
man, share the love. That let the bullies get their ass beat too. So I mean,
you got to beat the bully ass in there.
No, I'm saying it's gonna happen. It should happen. It's gonna happen, and it should happen.
Yeah, some of the people who get bullied can't beat the bully ass. That's the problem. The bully is there to help you overcome a challenge in your life and to teach you life is going to kick you down, and you got to sometimes kick back in life. I mean, that's the thing. Some people don't learn that lesson.
Every point.
Everybody gets the ass whooped. Y'all remember that 90s movie called, what was it called, Bully or whatever? It had Rick Moranis in it, where he got bullied as a kid, became an adult, met the dude who was bullying him at a hardware store, and the nigga was lame.
Oh, yeah.
And then I forgot what he did. He said something to the nigga, and the next thing, now the nigga was started bullying him as an adult. Like, hey, man, some point in time, you got to fight back, dog. You got to fight back.
Man, then I remember, it's not funny, but there was a stand-up, I want to say like 2017, but dude, basically white dude, man, hilarious. I want to say it might have been Tosh, man, but basically he said, he was like, Dad, I think I want to die. I'm going to kill myself. So his dad's like, all right, one day, his dad took him in the bathroom, had the tub running. So you still feeling like that? His dad shoved his head in the water, held him to his arm, started feeling he passed out. Pulled him out the water, slapped him, woke him up, said, still feel like him? I was like, no, I don't. But it was like the way, if I can ever find that clip, man, that shit was so hilarious the way he said it. But I'm just like,
You said it wasn't funny.
the suicide's not funny, but that shit's funny. The way
man, anything can be funny if you tell the joke the right way, man. But
yeah.
it's hey man, if you got parents that you can talk to, it is good when they can do stuff like that to make you realize, you know what, this ain't what I really want to do. Like when you said you quit earlier, Rose. I feel like that's a great way to put it, man, because especially with video games being so popular, man, like you tell these kids, like, okay, so this how you feel? Well, imagine playing this video game and you get so mad that you can't beat this level. How you cut this game off and reset it? If you decide to kill yourself, there is no cutting it back on.
Man,
It's off. It does not come back on. There is no switching to a different game. Like you don't play it no more. It's just over with. It's dead. You know, a lot of times, especially with the youth, they don't really understand how permanent the decision is. But as far as the grown men that's making the decision, man, end of the day, man, I saw this online. This is pretty much my last thing about it. They were saying that the men in society have increased the suicide rates so much. And one of the reasons is a lot of men between the ages of 25 and 40 are lacking a lot of companionship. Man, you know, because a lot of women are choosing other people or whatever. It's not like how it was back in the day where, you know, it was easier to get hoes. Man, you niggas gotta pay for pussy, dog. Like that's just the honest truth. You niggas gotta pay for pussy. You niggas gotta work your little job, go on Backpage or list crawlers or whatever it is, and y'all just gotta pay for some pussy, man. And maybe you gotta pay the extra $50 to be like, lay here and cuddle with me after I get done, you know, nutting or whatever. Because that's crazy. When I saw that a lot of the reasons for men's suicide is because of the lack of companionship. Like y'all niggas got to get out here and do something about that. And that's my last thoughts on it.
Yeah, man. I mean, as far as that, like companionship, whether it's friends or women, whatever, that's some bitch shit, man. There's gonna be times where you're gonna fucking be lonely. That's just a fucking part of life. So all that other shit, that's some bitch shit to me personally. That's how I feel about that. But at the end of the day, man, there ain't shit you can say to somebody. If they gonna do it, they gonna do it. But at the same time, you got yourself at the end of the day. So I mean, it's that person's gotta wanna be through it. But at the same time, you know, it's like you need help. You gotta find a way to whatever coping mechanism you need. You gotta get out of it. There's just too much of this shit going on.
What if they tell you they need some coke?
That might.
Coke makes all your bad feelings turn to good feelings.
Good feelings.
You don't want this.
You don't want this shit. I think I do. All right, okay, this is one time.
You don't want that.
Hey, so a lot of people probably have had people in their lives commit suicide, and you know, of course, there was a lot of tears for a lot of people. And I'm be honest, there was some people, man, that you know commit suicide, and some people I was like, good riddance, man. Moving on to TNT.
Dynamite.
Boom.
So somebody who, depending on what happens with the verdict, you know, in their trial, they might think about committing suicide in prison. We got Diddy. You know, we in another week of the trial. There's been a lot of stuff that's been going on. From there, apparently they showed videos of the freak offs to it got reported that there was a black male who got asked to be removed from jury duty because he could not necessarily be direct about where he was staying at. And there was a whole bunch of other stuff that, you know, kind of transpired this past week. Sees?
Nigga, all the shit going on, I ain't been keeping up with that fucking bullshit, man. I've heard bits and pieces, but man, let the fucking shit play out, man.
Yeah, man, I got tears, man. Free Diddy, man. I've been saying it from the beginning, man. It's like it's just supposed to be the last week, but they postponed it today because somebody called in on the jury. So Friday was supposed to be the last day. Not the last day, but the prosecutor was supposed to rest their case on Friday. So They might not arrest this Friday. It might be next week, but it's almost to the end. Diddy's not going to testify, and we still ain't heard nothing about no legal guns, no trafficking people across lines. Where the kids at? We ain't heard nothing about no little kids. That was the main thing. Like, oh yeah, he had kids, babies out there, butt naked, serving food. What? We ain't heard nothing about that. All we heard was grown people having sex
Free.
and doing drugs.
So he should be the case.
So that's all we heard. Like, so man, I got tears for him. Like, he been locked up. He can't dye his hair. You know what I'm saying? He looking crazy. I really want to see a picture of him because the pictures that they draw, and they got him all with gray hair. Like,
No cocoa bean.
no cocoa bean. He can't dye it. Like, he looking crazy. But then he was looking at the jurors like, man, go ahead and free that man. And then make it so bad. It's so bad for Diddy. They trying to kill R. Kelly too. He overdosed and like, man, free both of those guys, man. Free both of those guys, man. For tears or no tears.
And I got tears because, man, if I even go into the details, I still didn't know what Diddy did wrong. Like, I've been saying this for the last couple weeks, and I've said this at my job, and this whole got mad. Man, Diddy did what you're supposed to do if you got that kind of money. If you got 500, 900 million, once you start getting hundreds of M's, man, you supposed to be fucking hoes. You supposed to be throwing wild parties. It's supposed to be drugs everywhere. You know, and you supposed to, whatever sexual desires you have, you supposed to be able to fill those. Now, am I with all that freak shit he was doing? That's not for me. But if that's what you like, though, and you got the money to do it, hey, cool. Because, you know, bitches in the hood ain't doing some of that shit. But guess what? They ain't doing that shit because they not around niggas who got hundreds of M's. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I think this really some boss shit, bro. All the shit I done heard. The fact that he had 50 Cent baby mama, Mia, the British singer who was popular back in the day, and Cassie, and probably some other high-profile females that ain't even names really came through. Jane Doe. Yeah, Jane Doe and some other females.
That was 50 baby mama.
Oh, that was 50 baby mama, my bad. The fact that he had them doing this much shit, that really let you know how much money a nigga got, man. Because Cassie was no broke bitch. Mia wasn't no broke bitch. 50 Cent baby mama wasn't no broke bitch. That really let you know Diddy was that nigga. He like the way Cardi B all on Stephon Diggs' dick and laying Stephon Diggs do, that let you know his bag way bigger than Offset bag. Because he could do what he want. And this moral of the story, when you got the paper, you can do what the fuck you want to do. Until the white man come after you. But no tears, though.
So you already hear one of my stories?
No, it's tears, no tears. You got tears, no tears, or we're moving to the next topic.
No tears.
Cool. So, you know, Diddy, you know, him having being a sponsorship with Ciroc and DeLeon for so long, that was in a lot of these nightclubs over the last couple of years, man. There was this man who was saying that he was talking to a woman, and a woman said she was in a relationship, and it sparked a debate about if you're in a relationship, that is the nightlife is no place for you hoes. Tears or no tears, C's?
I got tears, man. If you're okay, so are we talking about specifically women, or are we just saying
in general,
single? Yeah. Tears. That's something every couple decides. You know what I mean? If you feel like you can't control yourself, or you gotta, it's like, you know, you can be married and still go to the club. You ain't gotta do certain shit. It's just like, okay, you going to the bar and you only drink beer. That doesn't mean you have to drink alcohol too. Or you go to the bar, everybody's smoking. You ain't got to smoke too. You know what I'm saying?
Real talk.
And it's like choices, like what are you going to do? Like at the end of the day, it's for the individual couples to fucking make. So I feel tears for that statement. You feel like you single people or married people can't go out. Like, shit. You know, have some self-control, have some trust in your relationship, man.
So I remember he's saying that, but married people go out to clubs all the time together. and they also go out separately. But I don't. I don't have any tears for what he said because I thought what he said was dumb. Like people can go do what they want to do. Who made you the chief justice of the nightlife? Like who are you, dude? Like no, just because she ain't want to give you no play and you was hollering at her, you got mad and get on social media be like, oh yeah, man, you in a relationship, you shouldn't be out there in a club at night, man. That's what nightlife is for people to go out and have fun. And people can go out and have fun with their spouse or their significant other or without them. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? People can do that, man.
Yeah, man. I'm kind of in the middle of this, man. I'm gonna say, nah, I ain't got no tears, man. But I'm in the middle, man. I'm not really on either one of y'all sides completely because I do feel like if you're married and you go out as a woman, understand most men who go out is trying to holler. So you probably shouldn't be dressing a certain way, and you probably shouldn't be looking a certain way because niggas is gonna try to holler at you. Like it's just that simple. You go into the nightclub and you dance with your friends and you twerking and stuff. Like I'm gonna be honest, when I see four bitches twerking on the dance floor, I'm just seeing four hoes.
Mm-hmm.
So if y'all all dressed the same and y'all all acting drunk and shit, I just see four hoes. I don't see three hoes and one respectable married lady. Now I do feel like if you're married and y'all want to go out together, I know married couples that go out together. I think that's perfectly fine. I think that's acceptable. But I don't really see why you as a married woman would want to go to a nightclub where you know it's going to be a lot of drunk men that's going to holler at you, unless you just a married woman who likes and who is aggressive enough to push niggas off. But if you're kind of like Meek, why would you even want to be in that situation? Now, as far as the shit he said about niggas in the strip club, nigga, shut that shit up, nigga. Shut that
So
shit.
what about
Shut
a
that
dude?
shit
What
up.
about a dude going to the club? Not strip club, just regular club.
Bro, I don't think it's the same, bro.
Because strip clubs are different.
I don't
That's
think
like
it's
straight
I
up,
don't
that's
think it's the
different.
same because we can go to the club right now and bitches ain't gonna walk up and holler at us like that. Like one of us might get a bitch to walk up, but that's not gonna happen every time. We done went out plenty of times together and just had drinks and nobody hollered at us. But if you a group of women, if all of our wives and girlfriends went out right now and dressed like some of these other women dress, I promise you, all of our
They're
ladies
gonna
is
get
getting
free
hollered at,
drinks.
man.
Yeah, they're gonna get free drinks. Everybody, yeah.
Like they all gonna get hollered at, and you knowing that, you need to do better and not put yourself in an environment like that if that's not what you want. Because if your goal is just to have fun with your friends, you can do other stuff than go to the nightclub.
You know what? This brings up a good question. I have no tears in the situation, but this brings up a good question. Okay, so ladies, if you have a man at home, is it okay to accept a drink from another man? You think about it. Like girls go out to get the free drinks. Girls go out to get the free drinks. You know what I'm saying?
If your dude doesn't care, then yeah, it's okay. But if you know your dude would trip about that, then no, it's not okay.
Yeah, because it's like
I don't have a problem with that, but some guys probably will have a problem with it.
But yeah, like with this situation, it's funny because yeah, women, like you say, women are men are different. Like you say, women go out, they got half their ass out. Every nigga in the club gonna say, hey, you know what I'm saying? Gonna say, what's up? What's going on with you? They gonna know what's going on.
You gonna say, hey, they gonna be smacking and
yeah,
grabbing.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? You fucking tonight? But then you got then you got a dude. You know what I'm saying? He could be fly. He could have all the money in the world, but women still might not come up and holler at this nigga. The women ain't just gonna line up, like, hey, can I get your number? Can we hang out tonight? Nah, they ain't gonna do that. It's just the bias of the situation, and yeah, I have no tears on it.
Yeah, man. So there was a situation where a man passed away at his job, and after passing away, the job decided to sell his PTO because he had a whole bunch of PTO left over. Apparently, he never took time off while he was at the job, so they posted it for everyone at work that they could buy the PTO, and they said that you cannot make bids on the PTO while you at work. Yeah, man, I ain't got no tears only because, PTO, like time off, paid time off.
No. They did what again? Repeat it one more time.
They posted his PTO so that other workers could pay for it. So like if he had like 200 something hours of PTO if you was willing to spend, let's say 20,000 or 10,000
This is the
or
dumbest
500,
shit
you could get the PTO, and that way you could take time off yourself.
What job is this?
I don't remember exactly what the job was. I just remember that it was posted. For me personally, yeah, man, I ain't got no tears, man, because I tell people all the time, man, if you want to kill yourself for a job that don't care about you, cool, man. And like, you know, because there's people out here that will die for the cause. Like you meet a motherfucker at your job and they red, white, and blue for that job, man. They compliment. And that shit don't mean shit, bro. Because I done seen people at my job pass away and all they get is a moment of silence and they ring a bell 10 times. And you be on your post and you hear the bell ring 10 times and then you got to ask your partner, like, what the fuck going on? Oh, you remember so-and-so who used to be here 2 years ago? Yeah, he passed away yesterday. Oh, okay, cool. So we order some shit for lunch. Like, man, that shit, hey, man, take your time off, dog. That's what it's there for.
Yeah. And the price on it was crazy. It's like $47,000 for all his PTO.
Yeah, fuck
I wonder if they could break it down. Like, I want 50 hours. You can buy 50 hours. You can have 50 hours. You can buy 50 hours. Everybody get 50 hours and just pay for it. But for the fact that they did that, it's like
Trifling.
it's
Sad.
but it's the truth. Like,
They can't do that.
but they don't care. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no tears because your job don't care about you. Because they'll replace you quickly if you don't do if you ain't jumping and jiving like steps I didn't want you to take. They'll replace you quickly, and especially if you die, then they'll replace you quickly, even quicker. They'll post your job the next week. Yeah, so take care of yourself, and that goes along with the first topic we talked about with the mental health. You know what I'm saying? People need to take mental health days and take that time. Like, don't work yourself to death. But when you do retire, you probably still need to do something. Because if you don't use it, you lose it. See?
Yeah, that's the thing. In the military, you literally you're maxed out at a certain amount of leave, so they make you fucking take it. Let's say you build it up. There's a lot of jobs and a lot of companies that make what's like once you get to a certain threshold, they be like, guess what? Guess who's going on vacation next week? Like, nah, I'm good. I don't have nothing to do with that. Guess who's fucking off next week? So they'll make you take your fucking vacation. I mean, it's a tricky thing with the unlimited PTO jobs and shit now going on. I mean, we all said it. Everybody's gonna say it again tonight. These jobs don't care about you. I mean, the train has to keep chugging along. That's the thing. Whether it's a business organization, you know they're gonna move on quick. It's an individual versus a whole entity and organization. So I mean, I got tears for that. It's probably should be some laws against this shit. You know, like maybe that money should have gone to benefits or some shit. Maybe you had a family. I don't know. Or maybe
Exactly. They should have went to the family.
or you know, shuffle that shit back into the fold of the company. Not let me sell this to this motherfucker.
That don't make no sense. Like, that gotta be a small business.
I would like to know how his contract was set up because I know, like in my line of work, like we get a beneficiary, we get someone like you get in my brother's mine, by the way. But you put down someone's name, and if you pass away, like while you with the company, they get all your stuff.
Yeah.
So I would like to know how it was set up for them.
Like I said, that don't make no sense because there ain't no fucking way. I ain't never heard of a job. You die, and they sell your PTO. They sell your time. No, it goes. Okay, this is the money that we owe you. This is the pension. Oh yeah, by the way, you get a little check from the time he had saved up for coming to work every day. That's also goes to the beneficiary. That's why I was like, what the fuck is this bullshit? You talking about they selling off his shit? Like, hell no, that shit don't. No, that's against the law.
So, speaking of against the law, so there was a man who was in the store and he walked up to another individual, gave him a note. The note said, "I'm going to rob the store." And the individual had a card in his hand. He put the card up, walked straight out the store, didn't say nothing to nobody. Tears of laughter. I thought that shit was funny as hell, man.
It's real robbery though.
Because this man said, this ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm minding my own business. I'm getting the fuck on, man. I thought that shit was hilarious, man. I thought that shit was hilarious. More people need to be like old buddy, man. Mind your own fucking business. I ain't got no problem with you. My problem's with the store, man. I'm robbing a bank. Don't try to get up and be a hero. Your money's insured. The bank got your money's insured. So when I take this 100K out of the bank, you gonna be good, bro. I just don't be no hero. Don't call no cops. Just chill, lay on the floor. I ain't trying to shoot no hurt nobody now. I'm just trying to get the money from the people that run this bank, and the bank got insurance policies on it, and we good to go. So it wasn't a bank, but I'm just saying for those people who be in bank robberies and thinking I could be like the hero, nah, you ain't Chuck Norris, nigga. Sit your ass down.
They stick to that shit where it's just simply like you just robbing a store, you get the money, you get the fuck on, man. Nobody have a problem. Same thing with a bank, but I mean, the only thing I would have did different was I probably would have been like, damn, this store ain't got shit. I would have whispered under my breath, walking out, and that was about it. But you ain't gonna see me making them dramatic. I mean, it's funny, man. It was definitely the way he did that shit. He was like, hey, I'm out. He's like, say less.
I'm leaving here with something.
Nah, he said he ain't do that. He said, fuck that. I'm out. He's like, ain't got shit to do. I don't even need this car. Fuck this car. I'm out.
Yeah, I don't have no tears either, but it was funny because when I seen the video at first, I'm like, I thought it was a skit. But then after thinking about it, it's like the video of him was a store video. It wasn't like a camcorder or a phone. It was like a security store video. So I guess the dude actually did rob the store. So and then they, I guess they probably thought Buddy had something to do with it, but they looked at him saying he walked straight out the store.
They probably asked him, "Hey man, why you ain't tell nobody?"
Yeah, cause it ain't got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying?
That's the store. That's not me, Poppy. Yeah, the store. Hey. That's all.
Hey man, so this next situation is one of those stories where it's like you can't make this shit up. Ironically, it's actually made the fuck up. So we had something sent in our group chat earlier in the week about an Andre Tillman who was in a neighborhood. He's a black electrician. There was a park nearby. The lights was fucked up. He decided to go fix it so the kids could play basketball and play in the park at night. Apparently, he got arrested by the cops a couple of days later for tampering with city property without paperwork, the appropriate paperwork. And people was starting to petition and write city council to the point where the Kansas City Council and the mayor had to get involved. And through the investigation and the police department, it was like, ain't no Andre Tillman locked up. And apparently this whole story was AI generated, man. Cease, you the one who broke the story down, man. What's your thoughts?
People are fucking stupid. Told you, this is literally AI ain't nothing but a new. It's a new tool. It's the same shit. Social engineering. Basically, they made up a whole entire story about a local electrician trying to fix something, and they made it seem like he was taking it upon himself to fix something that the city was neglecting or taking a long time. They said, "Oh, you know how electricians usually you got to go through a process. Like, let's say off of Boykin Road basketball court, the lights off. There's a local electrician that lives up the block. He fixes it, and then because he did that, the city's like, you can't do that. That shit's illegal. Whether they got codes or other shit. Right. And then let's say the county already spent money to fix it. You know what I'm saying?
Process. Yeah, it's in the process.
It's in the process. They spent money on it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fucking with, taxpayers' money and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But then it turns out, I'm assuming it's the white dude who was talking about it, set up the GoFundMe, and they made like a couple $1,000 off of that shit. People were donating, and it just came to find out,
Bro, it's a scam. It's a
scam. Somebody did it literally to make money.
Yeah.
And I mean, you got a good enough story, and it sounds true. Hey, you put it on TikTok, you might get somewhere. But I got no tears. Sometimes you just gotta let shit sit and play out.
I can't have no tears for $2 because if I would have donated to GoFundMe for some shit like that, $2, here you go. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Keep that shit moving.
Yeah, I ain't got no tears either, but it 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 shows that people still have love for people. They tried to get him out, but it turns out that he wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? But it's a good story. You know what I'm saying? The person that did it, I wonder if they really got the money or not. You know what I'm saying?
They made him give it back.
You know what I'm saying? So the person that scammed actually got the money, but GoFundMe refunded everybody their money.
I gotta get back to you, but I know the money got refunded somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I got tears of laughter again, because this is just, man, people crazy, man. Like, I know people say AI is getting crazy, but somebody had to make the story and make it AI generated. And this just reminds me of, remember back, like, I'm gonna say between 2016, 2018, when every time you got online, somebody died. And literally, you would find out after Googling or trying to look it up, this nigga ain't dead. This nigga home chilling. And it got so bad. I think it was Keenan Thompson. They said that nigga was dead. And that nigga had to respond to be like, hey, I woke up this morning and found out I was dead.
Yeah.
Like, that's what this new AI shit is, bro. Because you get on TikTok, but you see just as an AI generated videos. But this one was so, like, realistic, it didn't even seem fake, bro, to the point where so many people ran off with it. Because it sounded like some shit a city would do. It sounded like some shit. A black man, gets a craft, learns, and decides to get back to his community, and the white man says, oh, hell nah, nigga. You trying to make these, street lights good for these niggas? Nah, but we gotta arrest you, dog. We trying to make money fixing this light pole, and you did it for free? Nah, we need that. So it sounded realistic to me, but it wasn't, man. But some of y'all niggas, this just shows y'all got too much goddamn time on y'all fucking hands. I don't know what's wrong with these people making up stories. I don't know what's wrong with these hoes, y'all.
What's wrong with them, man?
So there was this 19-year-old boy who mama had a little thing, had some dick, and she was fucking a nigga. The 19-year-old son found out, got upset, decided to, call up his cousin and his uncle and say, man, this nigga dicking down my mom. We finna go press this nigga. Now, while they was pressing the nigga, they decided to rob the nigga. Now, during the robbery, they accidentally shot and killed him. And now the son, the cousin are locked up on murder charges, and the uncle's locked up on accessory to murder. C's, what's wrong with these hoes?
Hoe ass nigga, pussy ass, young ass, pussy, bitch ass nigga. Nah, but I mean, seriously, hey man, what Jody mama say? Mama gotta have hers too. Whatever. It's like it wasn't like the nigga was harassing his mom, sending her unsolicited pics or some shit like that. It was really like, nigga, young blood, 19, got pissed off. Then he probably lied to his uncle and his cousin just to get him over there. Cause it's like, how do you say I'm gonna press this nigga and then go over and proceed to rob him? It's like, oh no, I'm just gonna press him, whatever. Then you rob him and you end up killing him. So now it's you and your cousin and your uncle all fucked up. So now mom's is like, you raised a bitch, you know what I mean? Over crashing out over some stupid shit. It's like,
he didn't know his place, it sounded like.
He apparently he didn't.
He didn't know his place.
It's like you're not her man, baby. Like you literally fucked up 5, 6, maybe more people's lives over your feelings. I mean, hey, you grown, you shouldn't be worried about it, and your mom's grown. So it's like
dude wasn't really grown. He was 19, so he wasn't really grown. And then
he was grown. He's fucking grown. You old enough to smoke. You old enough to shoot. You old enough to have sex.
He wasn't old enough to shoot. See, that's the whole thing. See, he didn't come over there with a rifle. He had a pistol, so he was illegal. It sounded like he was illegal off top.
Grown enough to get your hands on it, man. So all that, you grown enough to take the charges, man.
Yeah, I'm not saying he ain't growing up straight charges. He's taking them fucking charges. Them charges going with him. But I'm just that situation right there, man. That we go back to earlier episodes when we talked about women, how they raising their kids. You know, it was the ways that boy. It sounded like the way he was raised. He wasn't. He was trying to defend his mom's honor when he should have just been like, that's my mom's. What she does is what she does. He didn't stay in his own lane, so it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Rose.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with these hoes, man. All three of these guys are some hoes. Cause how in the world y'all trying to go out and attack somebody just because they living their best life? You know what I'm saying? Y'all some suckers, man. And not lollipops. Y'all just some suckers. Like, man, because he just living his best life and y'all just want to go out and attack him, end up losing his life. Who cares about what happens to all three of them? They need to burn and fry in the doggone in the dungeon. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't do nothing wrong and y'all just mad because he was living his best life and now your mama is even suffering even more because she lost her best eater.
Yeah.
And now y'all in jail. Now she gotta go put money on y'all commissary. You know what I'm saying? On y'all books and pay for y'all phone time. Like she might not even want to see y'all. Like I don't even know because when hoes lose their best eater, you know what I'm saying? They be hurting. You know what I'm saying? So who knows, man? Who knows, man?
Yeah, man. Man, nigga, y'all definitely some hoes, man. That's crazy. But this is the sad part about boys. They love their mama, dog. Like they love their mama to fucking death. And they can't just imagine they can imagine their mama getting dick. Like that's just some shit they just can't imagine, man. So it's kind of crazy because you 19, you don't sound like no lame ass nigga. And what I mean by that, you don't sound like a nigga that's just going to school. You sound like you could have been possibly in the streets. So you probably was getting pussy. I just feel like once you get to a certain point as a man, you should just expect your mama to kind of do whatever they doing, man. Like you should expect them to still get their needs met, especially like you 19, your mama probably 38, 45. Like that's just too young not to get no dick still. That's too young to just be like I'm gonna be celibate or whatever this whole time. As far as the uncle go, I'm assuming the uncle is close to the same age as the mama. Man, the uncle, you need to go ahead and tell your nephew, yo, Neff, bruh, your mama grown, she gonna do what the fuck she wanna do. Man, stop tripping, man. Because I just, it's crazy to me that this became a whole big thing. And it's unfortunate because now you got, two young people whose lives are basically ruined because y'all made a decision because y'all thought it was wrong that your mom was getting dicked down. I remember Juice Man said earlier he went defending the honor of the mom. What honor? It ain't like the nigga raped her. Like, it ain't like she was a virgin. Apparently the mama had a kid, so there was no honor to defend. The mama wanted to get some dick and she got some dick, man. So, yeah, man, that shit's crazy. So, moving on to the final topic of the night. So, on the Joe Budden podcast, you had Melissa Ford and Mark Lamont, and they was having a conversation about kids. And they brought up the fact that Melissa Ford, had a tragic situation from miscarriage back in the day. So she can't have kids. So she doesn't have kids. For those who don't know, she doesn't have kids. At least not through her. And basically, it sparked the conversation of, can you not have the same experiences of the people, but still be able to have conversations, even though you might not have actually been to these places or done these things, or you are not these things? Can you sit down and have a conversation about it still?
As long as it comes from a depends on it's context with the conversation. Like if the conversation is only experts are speaking on this, that should be stated when you first had the conversation. It's like, just like, okay, we're talking about basketball. You're gonna have somebody that either played basketball, coached basketball, or they've been writing about this shit for several years. At least that's how it used to be. We used to have journalists, these people that were statisticians and scout agents, and shit like that. Like they know about the game, keyword like the game or the topic. Just like you can have somebody, and then you got like journalists, like people that can speak on a certain subject. You kind of get what I'm getting at. I'm like, you ain't gotta necessarily. It's the context of the conversation. It's like, are we having an expert level conversation where we're talking about like, hey, these are people that have studied this, experts on this subject, or is it just a general conversation? Because it's like, hey, you can talk about, oh, let's talk about the military. We can talk about, oh, EOD. I wasn't EOD, but I had to ship the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I can tell you about 1.45 explosives or 1.4 explosives and the difference between class 2. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't directly work with it, but I can tell you, hey, this is how you learn it.
Yeah, you have
So
knowledge on
certain
situation.
knowledge. Like
Yeah.
that's why I say the context of the conversation matters versus it's like who's speaking on it, where y'all coming from, and like I don't feel like you should have experts, but every conversation you ain't gotta necessarily be like, oh well I lived through this. Is like, nah, 6 degrees of separation, 20 degrees of separation. You know somebody, you're affected by it. You know somebody who knows somebody. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, it wasn't me, but my uncle. It wasn't me, but shoot, you know, my best friend. You know, so I mean, sometimes it's a case by case basis, but I mean, for the most part, I feel like establish the conversation at the beginning and then go from there. Because in some cases, I'm gonna be like, hell no, motherfucker can't speak on that. And others, I'll be like, nah, it's valid. You know, the statement is valid.
I mean, I like the way what you hinting at, man. If we doing a conversation and if we preface the conversation, like let's say we're doing a Father's Day conversation, and we say everyone at the table got to be a father to speak. Okay, cool. Like if that's the stipulation, no, because he was saying experts. Like because there are certain panels when you listen to podcasts or just go to places where they have nothing but experts on certain topics. Cool, if that's the preference. Now if we're just saying, hey, all of us is going to talk about fatherhood or whatever from our perspective or whatever. Like to what you were saying, is yeah, I don't think you necessarily need experience doing something or being somewhere, especially if you're well read, if you're a knowledgeable person, like, you know, if you talk to people or whatever and you receive information. I'll use myself for example. I have a handful of friends who are experiencing fatherhood. I have conversations with them as well as the men in my family about fatherhood. Now, through the conversations, there are some parts when we have conversations about raising kids. I probably will. This is just me. I probably will preference. I don't have kids though, and I've never had to raise kids. And I feel like that sometimes can be a helpful qualifier if you do say, yeah, man, I'm only speaking from my experience of talking to other people or reading stuff online. You know, I think that does help. You know, when we have conversations about sports, I don't like to be like, well, you know, I played, you know, sports in school or whatever, so I feel like I should know more than you or whatever. Nah, Rose watches football all the time. He keeps up with basketball or whatever. So I don't have no problem with me and having a conversation about football. Like, will there be certain parts of the conversation that may get away from him from my perspective because I have a different perspective of it because I played football and I played in the trenches? Yeah, possibly so. But at the same time, I talk to him all the time, and he know people who played at UGA and Georgia Southern. He went to a big school, so there's parts of the conversation he can give me. Like, yeah, I went to Georgia Southern, and I know football players that were smoking weed before the games, and you know that's a perspective he can give. I think in all these conversations, we should not be so quick to dismiss someone's perspective just because they have not lived through it necessarily. Because you don't know how much they studied it. Like when people talk about, you and me had a conversation about overseas, and you said that you've never seen seas. that you have to pay to go in a restaurant overseas. And I said that, man, MGH just went overseas last year, and he talked about how there was restaurants he had to pay to get in. And I took French in school, high school, and I had a teacher that told me, yeah, there's some restaurants in Paris you have to pay before you can get in. And I've seen people online on TikTok who live overseas and talk about how they don't tip. And the reason why they don't tip is because you pay before you can get in the restaurant. And that money goes to them. So, but you've been overseas. I've never been overseas.
Just adding to that, man, I was like, yo, literally been to restaurants. Like, yeah, you don't tip over there because I guess they pay them a decent amount. Out of Portugal, Spain, the Netherlands, France, Germany, Austria, Czech. Never had to pay when I first got in the restaurant. Never been there. Bathroom? Yeah. But besides that, nah. But it could be a thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like two people go to the same place. One person experiences something and another person doesn't. Just like two fathers. This father might say, hell no, I'd never do that. And the other father's like, oh, no, I do this with my kids. So, I mean.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing that you have to keep in mind because everyone's going to have different experiences. I know women who say raising girls is easy. I know women who say raising girls is hell. I know men who love raising daughters over boys. But I know men, especially the men who play sports, well, you can't tell them shit about their sons, dog. You can't tell them shit about their sons. And the men who don't play sports, a lot of them lean more to they like their daughters more. But that's my experiences from talking to different fathers I know. So like you can get people who got the same experiences, and neither one is going to be 100% right because they have different experiences on doing it. Just like the person from the outside, they might get a different, better angle because maybe they're not invested in it because they get to receive all this information. And they're more willing to be like, you know what, I've never been overseas, so I'm not biased. So I'm listening to Juice Man, Rose, and C's all give me the information, and I'm making a average opinion on it. Versus y'all three, y'all all been overseas, so y'all all might just literally be like, I ain't trying to hear what you saying, Juice Man, because I done been to Paris too. And C's, you might be like, I ain't trying to hear what you saying, Rose, because I done been to Paris too. So y'all might actually cut yourselves off from seeing each other's perspective just because y'all have done it. Like that happens too sometimes.
Yeah, it does. But luckily I'm a Libra. So I actually look at both perspectives on a lot of stuff. I look at the bad and the good and everything. That's everything. Everything. And I don't know so I feel like I'm pretty fair with everything I do. Like I just don't do nothing out of spite. I don't do nothing out of anger. I don't do nothing. It's like, okay, I weigh everything, but that has nothing to do with the topic. What is the topic again, my man?
Can people who do not have those experiences enter into those conversations? So
And
if
the
you haven't played
answer is
football,
yes.
can you talk about it?
And the answer is yes. It's called empathy. That's the word for it, sir. I would say yes. It's called empathy.
Yeah, so yeah, I can say yeah, anybody can have a conversation about anything because lots of conversations are based on opinions, and everybody has their own opinion. Like sometimes people try to have conversations about facts when the facts are the facts, and like why are we having conversations or trying to have not even conversations about or have a debate about something that's just black and white. You know what I'm saying? But everything's not black and white. So when you're having conversations about things that aren't black and white, yeah, anybody can talk and have their own opinion about something, and and nobody's right, nobody wrong. There's indifferences in every situation, but I don't see a issue with somebody like 'cause I know with the Joe Budden thing. I think something she was saying something about like since she didn't have kids, but she had miscarriages, and so people are saying that she can't have a opinion about somebody that has parenting skills or something like
I
some
mean, and that
towards
does
that.
happen a lot in society. A lot of parents people, no offense to people who have kids at the table,
Mhm.
a lot of times if you have friends who don't have kids, I don't know if it's a defense mechanism. It does happen where it's
Them
like, when you
days
haven't raised
are over.
kids, so you can't talk to me about it. That to her defense,
Them
that
days,
does happen.
I feel you, but them days are over.
Yeah, so that's she was saying that, and Lamont was trying to, he was just talking to her, but yeah, anybody can have their own opinion about anything. Like nobody's opinion should be discounted or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's a opinionated situation. You know what I'm saying? When we talking about facts and history and things like that, things that just are known to happen.
Undisputable.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a conversation about it. Like that's like bumping your head into the wall. Like it's just dumb. But people try to have those conversations.
They do.
But it's like it's useless. But everybody's opinion should be able to count for something. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's situation should be able to count for something too.
So, if we're in a situation and you're talking to somebody about something and you have experience, let's say the military, for example, say my people in the military. If me and Rose was trying to tell you something about the military, that may lean more opinion than fact, would you be willing to hear that? Like, is that something where it's like, you know what? I still value this person's opinion, or would it be a situation where you might value C's opinion more because he was in the military more too?
No. But like that type of stuff, like okay, with opinions, I listen to everybody's opinion. Everybody has an opinion. Like you're right. Everybody has an opinion, but I listen to everybody's opinion. But like you were saying, some stuff, okay, you can Google some stuff, but that might not be real life. You know what I'm saying? Google ain't real life. like you can Google some stuff, and that might not be real.
So if someone say Iraq is a nice place,
three things can be true at the same time.
I'm not going there with that. I'm just saying, like, okay, for instance, this one thing I learned, and my father taught me this, and it's a jewel that I'm dropping on everybody. You can learn something from anybody. That's simple. So how can you turn your head on somebody you can learn from? And especially R.I.P. Miss Williams, HHS. Y'all go to school, y'all get your education. She has a scholarship for y'all. She's don't, say, and even in her death, she's doing her thing. And this is what I'm saying. She also taught me, you need to learn something new every day, bro. Every day. Never stop learning. For real. Never stop learning. Learn something new every day. So you can learn something new and educational from the lowest of the low or the highest of the high. It doesn't care who it is. And it might not be an opinion. It might be like, hey, I experienced this. I know I'm homeless, but I'm homeless because this and this and this and this happened to me. So you know not to do this and this and this and this because you can end up fucking homeless. That's simple. You don't have to, like you say, bro, Rose, bump your head on the wall when somebody telling you, so yo, I experienced this shit. This is the way to do it. Don't do it like that, or you're gonna bump your head on the motherfucking wall, bro. That's simple.
What about you, C's? Like if somebody has an experience what you've experienced, do you value that opinion the same?
It kind of, that's why I'm kind of split on it, where it's like, it kind of depends on where you're coming at. But I mean, like, most of the time, you shouldn't be like, just flat out be like, oh, no, that's wrong. That's like, unless it's like something like, it's facts and opinions. That's kind of where it's at. Like, but at the same time, you kind of got to hear people out because they might even learn something from you. Like, just like, all right, let me hear what they think about this situation or what they think they can tell me about it. And it's like, okay, cool. Let me correct you, or let me tell you how, this is facts, or this is my experience of it and all the people I know. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can't just be quick to be like, there will be situations where you're like, nah, that's straight up fucking bullshit. It's just like if somebody's like, we all got shit people will say and be like, nah, it's a lie, it's fucking untrue. It's definitely factual that the shit's not true. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm be honest, man. Yeah, man, I am going to give more weight to the person who got experience. I'm still gonna hear you out. But like, if it's a situation and I'm talking to somebody about how the social work system work, and they're telling me from their perspective, but they haven't worked in it, I'm still gonna respect that opinion. But if we're having a conversation and Rose starts telling me about it, I will give him more weight because he's worked in it for almost 2 decades. Like if LeBron James came in here and tried to talk to us about basketball, believe me, no offense to nobody at the table, what he says is gonna have more weight to me than what anybody else at the table, say. So I will give people more weight if they've experienced it. Like Rose, for example, like when I talk to people about fatherhood, because of the fact that I've seen what he's done, I do give him more weight than especially people who haven't even raised kids. But that doesn't mean just because you don't have no kids, I'm gonna be like, I'm just gonna dismiss you. I'll still listen to what you gotta say. But yeah, I kind of will give more weight to the person who's actually done it, especially if I respect them and I actually think that they're knowledgeable. Because, no offense, you got some athletes who's played in the NBA, and then you listen to them talk, okay, you sound like a dumbass. So
Where that coon at? Where that coon at?
I listen to Gilbert Arenas talk, and I'm like, okay, I don't need to get my basketball knowledge from him. But then I listen to Steve Nash and LeBron and JJ Redick talk about basketball. Okay, I will give them more credence than someone like Stephen A. Smith, who's covered the game for almost 30 years, because they played it at a high level against other great players. So that's me personally, and that's no disrespect for those who haven't done certain things or been some places. I still value your opinion, but I will value the opinion of the people who've actually been in it a little bit more. What about you, Rose?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with listening. Yeah, so I don't, everybody learns differently, but by listening, you can learn a lot of things too. And you can even learn that the person you're listening to is full of crap, or the person you're listening to is lying, or the person you're listening to is being remorseful, or is being truthful as most as he can be or she can be. You know what I'm saying? But it's always nothing wrong with listening. So I always take time to listen to people and hear people out, because it's not going to hurt you just to listen to them.
Cool. So before we wrap it up, y'all, man, I'm gonna go around the table starting with you, C's. If you don't have, a moment, that's cool. Do you have a moment where you had a conversation with someone and you just was like, this motherfucker does not know what the fuck they're talking about?
Young Cat was talking about a lot of times, but I will say Michael Jordan, basically a young nigga said Michael Jordan wasn't that good. Everybody in the fucking, around just tearing into his ass for, the last, 45 minutes. And he was like, nah, you gonna watch this game, bro. So, I mean, shit like that. It's this is one off the top of the head, but it's a lot of times where, and that's one of the ones why I say that, because it's fact, opinion. It's you can say he wasn't that good versus okay, check him out. It's all right, he is good. Might not be your favorite, but he's good.
There you go. Man. Okay, the question was again,
has there been a moment where you've been talking to somebody and realized this person does not know what the fuck they're talking about?
Man. My ADHD I ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? So basically, it's like, if it makes sense, it makes sense. If it don't, it don't. I just keep it pushing. I keep it moving. Like, if somebody was actually talking to me and his shit doesn't make sense, and I realized through the conversation this person really don't know what the fuck they talking about, I lost, bruh. I could, yeah, okay, yeah, bruh, my shit gone. Like I'm literally, I'm hearing the info, but I'm not digesting the info.
Yeah, for me, man, the two things that when you're talking to a nigga and you could just realize this person does not know what the fuck they're talking about. One, sports. That's just quick. Sometimes you could be talking to somebody and they just start talking about yeah, man, Derrick Henry, he's a great receiving back, man. When he gets out the back there, he catches a lot of passes. It's
you don't try to correct him?
Not because there's no point in correcting stupidity, dog.
No.
Because in their mind, they think they're correct, and I've done it in the past. They will argue you up and down, nah, man.
That's when you leave it alone. That's when they start arguing. That's when you leave it alone. It's just hey, Derrick Henry running back, and if they don't know what a running back is, that's when you're like, oh shit, yeah, this nigga don't know
And then the second thing, man, when a nigga who don't fuck hoes and don't got hoes is trying to tell you shit about hoes, and you start listening to them be like, nah, that shit don't go like that, player. That shit don't go like that. Like, you trying to finesse me. Like, you can tell when a nigga actually get bitches and fuck bitches, and it become very early in the conversation, like 2 minutes of conversation, like, yeah, this nigga just talking right now. He's saying some crazy ass shit. It don't make no sense. That shit, yeah. Those be the situations to me where it's like the most outlandish.
Yeah, it happens all the time for me. People talking and they're like, "Dog, what are you talking about?" But lots of times just listen to them, and especially when I be driving and pick somebody up, and they be like, "What in the world are you talking about?" Like, especially, and then lots of times like you see somebody, and especially like with sports, so like, oh yeah, my team is. Oh, I see you got the Falcons gear on, or you got the Laker gear on, or the Braves gear on. My favorite team is such and such. And be like, oh yeah, and you give their team a compliment, and then they try to like,
Oh man,
it's like, oh no, that's like, have you been watching? Like, what are you talking about?
like, y'all got a good quarterback. Man, that nigga ass.
Yeah,
Might be ass.
But you know your quarterback is Jaden Daniels, right? What are you talking about, nigga?
yeah. So it's
He
like,
made it to the league, so he gotta be something.
so, but yeah, ain't nothing wrong with listening. But sometimes it's hard. It's hard to listen to bull
It
crap.
can be painful sometimes.
It's like it's hard to smell it. You know what I'm saying? Smelling and listening. You know what I'm saying? The ears and the ears and mouth and nose are connected. You know what I'm saying? You might need to go see an ear, nose, and throat doctor.
Yeah,
Because
man.
to digest some of that bull crap people be talking about.
Yeah, they say if you smell bullshit long enough, if you start tasting it, man. So all that shit's connected, like you said. Final thoughts?
Yeah, man. My final thoughts, man. We just won another championship. The Los Angeles Lakers, man. We sold the team for $10 billion.
To who?
You know what I'm saying? To Mark Walter, you know what I'm saying? The majority holder of the Los Angeles Dodgers. You know what I'm saying?
So
The
it's
doggone
LA.
so the we beat the Celtics again because the Celtics sold earlier this year for $6.1 billion. So we beat them by $4 billion. So you know what I'm saying? We won another championship. You know what I'm saying? We always beating up on them boys in Boston. You know what I'm saying? Them boys in green, them little leprechauns. We always beating up on them. So we beating up on them again. So man, that's my final thoughts. But man, Kobe, Jerry Buss, I know he's rolling over in his grave because he bought that team for his family and for his family to turn around and sell it. Even though they sold it for $10 billion. They sold it for $10 billion, but still, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't he didn't leave that to them for them to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a sad situation, but that it's for them. They go be able to split that hopefully evenly, and we'll see, man. Hopefully they'll bring matches back in the front office and get rid of some of them, some of these losers that they got running the team. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to the Lakers, man.
Yeah, man. Sometimes opposites really do attract, man. Like a lot of people love peanut butter and jelly. Two things that on surface level shouldn't go together, but they go together perfectly. Man, that's one the fact the opposites attract, and that's why I love hip hop, man. I love seeing artists that you think should never do a song together come and make music that just is beautiful. If you would have told me this past weekend, I would have been listening to a whole album by Juicy J, produced by Logic with him rapping. I would have been like, nah, they're not gonna do a whole album together. Then I go and listen to the album, and it's one of the best rap albums I heard in 2025, man. To me, you can be a fan of Juicy J and love the album. You can be a fan of Logic and love the album. They both bring different aspects of hip hop to this album, and this is what hip hop is about. It's about telling stories that you understand, not telling stories that's just popular to the world. And for those who know Juicy J, you know how he raps, you know what he talks about. And for those who know Logic, you know how he raps and what he talks about. And what they did on the album, there's beats that Juicy J is familiar rapping on, and then you get some of the rap back beats that Logic raps on, and they rap together. And the segments where they having discussion segments where they're just talking about Juicy J's life and what hip hop means to him. Yeah, if you love rap, if you love hip hop, please check out that album, man. It's called Live and in Color. It's mostly Juicy J rapping, and it's produced by Logic, but Logic does get on. Wiz Khalifa's on the album, so it's Project Pat-Man. In the words of Ed Ben Rakim, peace.
Yeah, man, y'all can catch us at the next light, man. We in traffic, and I'm back quiet.
Mr. DJ Rose, Verkeezy, and C's, welcome you to the No More Black Tears podcast.
Black tears that's heaven sent. Barack the first black president. I love my black skin. I love walking in black excellence. Black power, let's represent. All black, that's evident. I'm sure MLK and Malcolm X both didn't die for the hell of it. Strap a seatbelt, go and settle land. What makes you think that we would sell our land? We wouldn't sell out now. What makes you think that we would go ahead and try to sell out then? No more black tears, black on black kids. Love us as is, love with passion. Paying black bills, learning black skills, making black meals. Black is backing. Big shout out to Fred Hampton. I'm black and proud like I'm James Brown, but I ain't doing no acting. My people here from the motherland. This podcast now active.